Okay, we've made it to Act 5 of Macbeth, the final act. And you could probably guess the gist of what's going to happen, but it is pretty extraordinary how Shakespeare does it. There's a lot of scenes here, there's a lot of kind of moving pieces on stage. It's always very interesting as this action kind of winds up. So if you recall, Act 4 ended with Malcolm kind of vowing to reclaim his rightful place on the throne of Scotland and overthrow Macbeth. And now in Act 5, it begins with a doctor of physics, just meaning like a medical doctor, and a waiting gentlewoman. This is Lady Macbeth's servant. We have not heard from Lady Macbeth in a super long time. Where has she been? She kind of fell out of the plot. But this is a very important scene, and I alluded earlier to three of the most famous scenes in the play. And the dagger scene, maybe the Banquo's ghost, and then this is that last really famous scene. So what we have here is a doctor telling this gentlewoman, this kind of servant person, that he has watched. He says, "I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?" Okay, so he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. When was it she last walked during the night?" And she says, "Well, since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed." So we can tell now that the she is Lady Macbeth. Macbeth went into the field. He's trying to kind of quell these rebellions that were alluded to earlier. So he's out, fighting. And she's saying, "I've seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take out paper, fold it, write on it, read it, seal it, and then return to bed. All this while in a most fast sleep." So when he says walk now, we know what he means is that this woman has called the doctor because she has been seeing Lady Macbeth sleepwalking a lot. Okay. The doctor says, "A great perturbation in nature to receive once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching." Okay, in blah, 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 blah. What have you heard her say? He says, "Yeah, this is a problem, but I haven't seen it yet." Now, when he asks what she says, look at her response. Why do you think that is? Yeah, you'll see. He says, "You can tell me." And she's like, why not? What do you think it is? Guess what? We're about to find out. Cool. Okay. But she doesn't dare say it since nobody would. It's so awful that with no witnesses to confirm, she's afraid of even saying it. Now here she comes. Okay. So she's walking and she goes, "Oh, here she comes." Okay. I swear she's fast asleep. Look at her. And she's holding a little like a candle thing. And the doctor says, "Where'd you get that light?" Goes, "Oh, it was by her bed. She has it continually." Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Seems like Lady Macbeth is afraid of the dark now. Remember Lady Macbeth in Act 1? Okay. Come you spirits that tend on moral thoughts and all that. Okay, her eyes are open, but their senses are shut, so she can't really see, but her eyes are open. What is she doing? Now they get to, without stage directions, they tell us what she's doing, so we know what the sleepwalking Lady Macbeth should be doing. She should be rubbing her hands, okay? And the gentlewoman, the servant, says, "Yeah, she's been doing this a lot. She always seems to be washing her hands. I've seen her do it for 15 minutes straight, just washing her hands." Now she speaks. She says, "Here's a spot." Oh, here's a spot. All right. The doctor says, "I'm going to write down what else she says so that I can remember it." So the doctor has a little notebook out and he's writing down what she says. Here's a spot. Now here comes probably the most famous line. Maybe double, double, toil and trouble, but this one also. "Out damn spot." That simple 3-word line has become one of the most famous lines in the play, probably all of literature too. Out damn spot. It's taken on a meaning now, 400 years later. What it means to say out damn spot. What's she doing? She's rubbing her hands. "Out, I say, out. 1, 2. Why then, 'tis time to do it." Okay, so she's pretending to wash her hands, and there's a spot on them. But now look where she's going in her sleepwalking dream, okay? It's time to do it. What do you think the it is? She is transported back to that time. Now she says hell is murky. She's afraid of hell. So she's back to the present, and she's afraid of hell. We see now the consequence of all of her evil actions, of course. "Fie, my lord, fie. A soldier in a fear." Now she cuts from, this is kind of separate from this kind of imagining back to the time of the murder. Now she's talking to Macbeth. Okay. He was not afraid of hell. He never was afraid of anything, I don't think, of the afterlife. But he was afraid in the moment of being caught. What need we fear? Okay. And then she says this out loud. Yet who would have thought the old man to have so much blood in him? Oh, and the doctor's like, whoa, did you hear that? Because there she really said it. And now it should be pretty clear to them what she's talking about. And she's imagining herself maybe standing over Duncan's bloody body. And then she says this. She's jumping around. The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? Who was the Thane of Fife again? Yeah, that's Macduff. Had a wife. Where is she now? So she's saying it like a song. It's usually kind of sung in a creepy way. Maybe this was something she heard people singing in the town after the news of the murder of Macduff's wife and children. Where is she now? And then here's this line. Tell me what, imagine what this would feel like. Do we have any pity for Lady Macbeth? Okay. Are we supposed to feel some pity for her? She says, what will these hands never be clean? Remember, she's still trying to rub her hands clean. Like she can't get them clean. What's on them? No more of that, my lord. You mar all with this starting. Now where is she? This is a scene. She's kind of replaying the greatest hits of all of their awful, time as king and queen. When was he marring all, meaning ruining everything with his starts, with his startled stuff? Yeah. This is now she's at the scene of the banquet with Banquo's ghost. And the doctor says, okay, you get out. You should go. You now know what you should not. Okay. He realizes this is inappropriate. And then she comes back, the servant, with, no, she has spoke what she should not. I'm sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known. So she's heard her basically confess to all these awful crimes in her sleepwalking, just telling everybody who can hear her what they've done. And now look what Lady Macbeth is doing. She should smell her hand. And she should smell the blood. Here's the smell of the blood still. And of course, that's what's staining her hand. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Now the line here is oh, oh, oh. And you'll see on film how a good actor says that. It wouldn't be the way I just said it. She wouldn't be saying, oh, oh, oh. But again, remember, when Shakespeare wants to convey some pure emotions that are beyond language, okay, that's all he can do. And a good actor will take that oh, oh, oh and run with it and make it really, really terrifying. Because Lady Macbeth is in pure terror right now. What a sigh is there. So he must be able to know, like, whoa, this sounds bad. The heart is sorely charged. He feels a little bit bad with her. Her heart is charged with something. She's holding on to something. And the woman that says, I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body. I would never trade my heart for hers or for the dignity of being queen or whatever. Okay. Now the doctor says, look at that. What do you think that means? Sorry. This disease is beyond my practice. This one's out of my hands. I'm a doctor. I have known those which have walked in their sleep, who have died holily in their beds, who have, been okay. All right. So he's hoping for that, I guess. Back to Lady Macbeth. What did she say? Wash your hands. Who's she talking to here? Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. Okay. Yeah. So that's talking again to Macbeth on the night of murdering Duncan. I tell you again, Banquo is buried. He cannot come out of his grave. Oh, so there she just gave that one away too. And he's like, whoa, did I just hear that also? Head to bed. There's knocking at the gate. Now we're back to Act 2. Come, 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 come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. That's interesting, right? Now earlier she said, what's done is done. Is that the same thing? What's done is done? And she was trying to tell Macbeth, snap out of it, let's move on. And now she says, what's done cannot be undone. In my mind, that's a little different. It tells us something about where she is now. What's done is done. To bed, to bed. Lady Macbeth exits. All right, now she's off stage. All right, will she go to bed? Yes. Now the doctor says, foul whisperings abroad, unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds, their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. God forgive us all. Okay, what do you think this means? Remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. Yeah, he's definitely can tell that she is in a dangerous state. So that's what that's about. I think that's kind of a suicide watch. Okay. My mind, she has made and amazed my sight. I think but dare not speak. This is terrible to them. Good night, good doctor. Okay. Um, I'll leave this one here, and there's plenty to think about in that one. And see you guys in the next video. Real life in class. Who knows?